Welcome to the second part of our Fall Brown Bag series, More Than Just a Lawyer. This part is titled Skilled Researcher Perfecting the Process. Please excuse the voiceover from the beginning of this presentation as we were experiencing technical difficulties on this day. This presentation will cover using library services and our catalog, as well as provide a practical example about improving your research skills. I will be discussing using library services and the catalog to improve your research skills. The advantage to using our catalog is that it integrates resources in various formats, whether print or electronic, across different library holdings, so our library, as well as the Library Learning Center and libraries worldwide in a single search. It's also a gateway to popular online databases, and you can access them whether you're on campus or remotely. Lastly, I will talk about using your library user account to access these services, such as interlibrary loan, creating lists, and saving your searches. You can access our online catalog from the law school's website under the Library tab. Also, our catalog is embedded on the Law Library's homepage. This is what the homepage of the catalog looks like. At the very top, there's a quick link to our electronic resources page. At the top, there's an advanced search, a course reserves link, and a resources tab. There's also quick links to popular databases from our resources at the bottom. Also to the right, you'll see My Account. This is where you can sign in to access those services that I was talking about. It's recommended that you sign into the catalog to get the full experience. You sign in using your TSU email and password. Under My Account, you can view which items you have checked out. This is where you can view your saved items, create lists, or save searches. Our example for today will feature a family law. We're talking about a joint custody issue where the parents live across different states. Using advanced search, you can combine different search indexes and search terms using Boolean operators. Use different search tools such as limiting by publication year or which format you want to use. You can also customize which databases you want to use. And then you can save your search method at the end of the search. Once you receive your search results from that list, you can limit it by using the facets to the left. And then at the end of that search, to the right at the top, you'll see a Save Search link. Click on that heart, and once it's highlighted, you'll see that your search is saved. This is a time-saving feature that you can use instead of completing the same search over and over again. Just sign into the catalog, and then under the My Account tab, you'll see Save Searches. You click on that link, and it'll pull up these search results after you save the search.
So I'll continue to go on as
This
he
is a
restarts
time-saving
this.
feature to improve your research skills, and it'll pull all the different resources together, no matter what format. Not only can you save your searches, you can save items from your search results. On each individual item record, to the right, you'll see a button that says Save. Just click on that button and it'll save the item. Then it'll create a list of those saved items. At the very top, once you've completed saving all your items, you'll see a link that says Saved Items. You click on that list and it'll pull up a full list of each individual item that you saved. From there, you can create a list of those items and save it. Now we're going to go into our example.
Research skills that I want to talk about from the library. And then once Mr. Raymond gets it back up, then I'll we'll continue with our exam.
So what I'll do is, while he's getting that, I need 8 people to stand up. Just 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I have 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, everybody over here, sit down. Just have a seat. All of those people just died because of domestic violence.
Yes.
3 out of 4 people died trying to leave. The average person had to leave 7 times before they can be gone for good. That's what we're gonna tie into this example, because I need it to be real to you. Each of us knows somebody that, pick a generation, that has been through domestic violence. While she's pulling this up, I'll tell you that for me, unfortunately, my earliest memories weren't the park, wasn't the circus. It was my mom getting beaten, pushed through a deck window 9 months pregnant. I wasn't even 2. Don't tell me children can't remember, because I could tell you, and I'm already 46. You see what I'm saying? Then when I got older, I've shared with you guys that my divorce put me in a law school. Part of it was me fleeing the state, crossing state lines with my 4 children. So some of these aspects I'm about to show you, I know firsthand. And that's why I wanted to make sure when you come here, I'm not just talking, I'm teaching you what I know. When you have your practices, you're gonna run into somebody that's dealing with this. It has no age, it has no sex. Even LGBTQIA even has a higher rate of domestic violence. Some people don't know that when you try to go to a shelter, you can't go with male children over a certain age. So what do? And God forbid you have a pet. You see what I'm saying? So you're about to end up homeless. And then, oh, did you want to continue? Okay. And then what I was gonna say is, you know, we have our homes in our minority community. Sometimes we say, well, let's make it work. I just want our family to be together. Did you know that the court can hold you liable in family court for endangering your children? There's case after case. When I was a law student, I did my research paper on domestic violence because I wanted to highlight that. It's a catch-22. You're trying to work it out. But at the point you know this man been beating you, and at the point you know that man or woman has been beating those children, the court holds you accountable, and y'all can both lose your parental rights, even though common law, okay, these are your highest level of rights. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are the hardest to lose, you can lose them like that, because there's something called the best interest of the child that will usurp that, and you'll be standing there looking foolish. So, like I said, as we go through this example, I want you to know it's on every doorstep, it's in every backyard. You see what I'm saying? And just because we present well doesn't mean we don't have a story, you see? But for me, I needed to make sure that my kids knew that that my daughters didn't deserve to be treated like that, and my son shouldn't treat anybody like that. And then, I didn't put this in the hypo, but you run into the family code for Texas, which says basically when there's an imminent danger. And then I had to argue that from court to court, because they said, well, he didn't hit you. But what's to say, I'm 5'3", 5'10", what's to say I'm gonna make it out that first incident? And if you hit me, I got to kill you, so I'm really going to jail. Y'all laughing, but I'm serious, because it's down to that. If he did something, I could be gone. If I did something, I would be gone. You see what I'm saying? He would be gone rather. And then where my kids be. This is real. And then before we move on, I also say there's something called dual persecution. So Johnny hits you upside the head every week, or Josephine, okay? Because that happens. This week, you decide Johnny ain't hitting me no more. And you get to fighting and tussling. Now y'all both catch a case. And they do that on purpose, because now every time you go to court, they can say, well, she hit me too. Even though whoever the aggressor has been doing it all these times. There are many women in jail because of stuff like that. And so, like I said, I didn't want this to just be words on a paper. I needed to bring it alive for you, because this thing is real. It happens every day. Most of you might not have realized that family law cases can trigger criminal law cases and family, and you'll be navigating both. But if you just left with the clothes on your back, how you gonna pay 2 lawyers? See?
Okay, thank you for that. I'll just continue, but we just want to make sure that we tie it all together. Give you the research skills, but actually give you a practical example and show you how you're using those research skills in life. So, from this example of saving the item, so as you continue your research within the catalog and you signed in, you can save items on your list. Once you do that, from your results list, you can save each item. At the top, it'll be hyperlinked. You click on that hyperlink, and then it shows. You can create a list from there, you can share it, and those are your options. This is a great way to keep track of your research, so you don't have to keep going back and forth to it. And then if there's someone that you're reporting to, you can send your search results to that person by creating the list. If we don't happen to have the item within the library, say you were looking up an article, it's the latest version and we happen to not have it from the catalog, straight from the catalog, you can make an ILL request. All you would do is, to the right, there's always going to be an access options panel. From there, you just click on request through interlibrary loan. From there, you just fill out that form, click the submit button at the bottom. It's automatically routed to our library and request the item for you. So a lot of times when you're going through your research, if you don't have a book or article at our institution, we can request it from another one. So that's another advantage of doing your search straight from the catalog. Also, especially in particular when you're doing independent research, you may not be necessarily doing it straight from Lexis and Westlaw. You may also need to research through those social sciences databases as well. So that's the advantage of the catalog, because you can research all of those databases at one time. In addition to that, we have access to AILA-Link, EBSCOhost, ProQuest, Hein Online, which has like your law reviews, your law library journals. Also, there are a lot of articles. AILA-Link deals with immigration. So we have those resources, and you can access all of those popular databases. They're direct links from the catalog as well. So again, as I mentioned before, not only from the electronic resources page, that database A to Z list is a comprehensive list of all of the databases, not only in our library, but in the LLCs as well. So you can access their resources at the same time. So you just always, from the electronic resources page, you just click on the name of the database, and then from there, it'll prompt you to sign in using your TSU email and password. Also, if there's a result that's an article or an ebook in the catalog, there's always going to be that link, view ebook or full text, and then it'll prompt you to sign in from there. And then it'll open directly from the resource. I want to talk about how to access the LLC's resources in addition to ours, because like I said, they have many of those social sciences databases. So whenever you're doing your searches in the catalog, you can just click on that you want to search in the TSU Library Learning Center as well as our library. And then if you happen to not have the resources in either one of our libraries, you can also click on libraries worldwide. A lot of times it's good to check with the LLC because they'll have access to popular journals and magazines that we don't necessarily have in our library. And then that's what the A to Z list is for. And then from there, we're going to go into our exam.
We appreciate you guys being patient. So I wanted to bring the research and real life together. Okay. All right. Diane and Brandon have been married 10 years and have 3 children. Junior is age 13, Deja is 9, Raymond is 3. Brandon has been the sole provider, while Diamond, a college graduate, was a stay-at-home mother. They have 1 vehicle and they pride themselves on having a private, close-knit family. Everybody was shocked when Diamond fled from Pasadena, Texas to Louisiana, after Brandon accused her of cheating and threatened to kill her. Brandon filed for divorce and full custody of the children in Texas, while Diamond is fighting to keep full custody of the children in Denton, where she updated her license and rented an apartment. So what we need to do is identify key phrases that will help us with our search, because there's a lot. The first thing I wanted to show you is how you can All right, it's just like, all right. So yellow would be divorce and custody terms. Married 10 years. Why did I put that? Because at 10 years, you can request alimony. 3 children, they're minors. So then you can argue in court about the need for the mother or the father. You see what I'm saying? Who's the most involved parent, the community connections, things like that. He's filing for full custody, so is she, so now you're up for a battle. All right, blue is the alimony part. She's a stay-at-home mother, but she's also a college graduate. So you end up with factors, like her ability to earn and things like that, which may allow him to argue that she doesn't really need the alimony. Other people don't even realize that you can get temporary spousal support even while you're fighting for your divorce. I made that mistake because at the time I wasn't in law school, I was pro se. And so when I was requesting it, I didn't know I could request it earlier and then it canceled out. Green is about the domicile. Now, what was neat about it, I had come to Texas because I had been in New Orleans. And when I moved back to New Orleans and got reestablished, I had updated my license and updated my insurance. Thankfully, I didn't even realize anything about domicile. My undergrad degrees are in biology and Spanish, so I knew nothing about this. But I have a friend who's an attorney there, and she was helping me with my situation, and we were able to claim domicile immediately. Because in Louisiana, when you intend to remain, you don't have to wait 6 months. That thing's saved. Okay, and so what happens also trigger something called full faith and credit, which is where state to state, they have to honor each other's rulings. And so the protective order I had, Louisiana was able to cover me and my children, and I wasn't able to be snatched back to Texas. Purple, I didn't like that because purple is a color associated with the domestic violence, the little ribbons. And so those would be indicators of domestic violence to one vehicle. I didn't get a chance to put this up here in the PowerPoint, but there's something called the wheel of power and control. And you'll see where they financially control you, they isolate you. There's different little components to it. So the one vehicle will control how you come and go. The private close-knit family with all our business stays in the house. When you need help, now people are surprised because, I mean, after all, Brandon is such a sweetheart. Y'all posting on IG every other day. Y'all just came back from Hawaii, that kind of thing. And so then when you need help, nobody would, believes you. The threaten to kill, that's where you would trigger the imminent danger and arguing back and forth. Did he mean it? Was he joking? Had he said this before? Did he mean before? All kind of things to try to undercut the credibility of your ability to fear for your life. Nevertheless, like I said, on the other side, which is what I had to say in court, if I didn't leave and something happened to my children, I'd be in jail anyway. So, okay. And so then when I had fled out of state and whatnot, there were times that I got served early in the morning, 6 and 6:30, demanding that I bring the kids back to Texas and drop them off. But how do you do that? I have a protective order. Because one order is conflicting with the other order if you can't be within 500 feet. You see what I'm saying? So these things can get very complex very quick. And that's why I use the background picture of a man looking through a microscope, because I have a science background. And it reminded me of when we had to look through the microscope and look through different lenses to see different levels of the issue, okay? All right, so derivative issues, we have domestic violence, domicile, educational level, housing. There's something called hidden homelessness that people don't quite understand. It's where you're sleeping from house to house when you don't have your own address. It doesn't mean you have to be under a bridge, just when you don't have your own domicile. One of the ways that people can be protected is that at your local post office, you can have your mail go to general delivery. And then with your filings, you can also ask for it to be confidential because any of the filings in the court are public and you don't want everything divulged. Religion can also be a factor because you have the right to train up your children to be moral citizens and so forth. So that's another argument that you could use, you know, that you're training them right. You know, you were taking them to church and they weren't or whatever. That's another nuance you can do to paint a bigger, like a brush stroke. And then immigration, I wanted to mention that because of the special visa that they lend to victims of domestic violence who also have immigration cases. And what happens is when they cooperate with law enforcement, they can be eligible to receive citizenship to cover them and their children. because that's one of the easiest ways for their perpetrators to scare them. The perpetrators are usually the sole source of income, and then when they say, I'm gonna report you, you're gonna get picked up by ICE and stuff, that usually they use that as a leverage. And so to undermine that leverage and to neutralize that, the government has been so kind of offer those fees. Okay. All right. Why doesn't she just leave for good? We talked about this while we give things up. How many times does the average woman try to leave before they leave for good? It's 7. Then I had y'all stand up and we knew everybody died. Imagine the impact with just the people that we see in the room if 6 of them were gone by tomorrow. That's what happens in our communities every day. Oh, I wanted to go back to that. Many people don't realize that the first 6 weeks is the most dangerous because that's when the perpetrators are pissed off. And if you got to leave 7 times, you know that 6 weeks will start each time, right? That's why 3 out of 4 people die trying to leave. Okay, so now we're gonna go into our searches. What I wanted to show you was the benefits of using secondary resources. Because secondary resources will kind of steer you in the right direction. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Secondary resources are people talking about the law. So when you go into your secondary resources, they're going to point you to cases, they're going to point you to statutes and different things like that. And it will save you a lot of legwork. You can take what you need from there and then run with it, kind of like a buffet. So here I went into Lexis, I put in interstate child custody. And then you'll notice right here, I put it on the search secondary materials. All right, and then what pulled up, I noticed that I have 10,000 results. So I'm gonna filter from that if I want to. But I noticed that this one here seems like it might have a lot going on. So I wanted to go into here. Now, Adriana, when she does the Lexis training, she points out that the blue will show up here, kind of maps it out and tells you how much is in this document. The red or the pink, if you will also show you how many times it will appear in the document. So I ended up clicking on it. All right, and what I noticed that I liked was that even the table of contents was hyperlinked. So if anything I have a question about, I can click it and I can dive in to figure out what they're talking about. Now, what's important for you to know is that the UCCJA is the Universal Child Custody Jurisdiction Act. The UCCJEA is the Universal Child Custody Jurisdiction Enforcement Act, and the PKPA is the Parental Kidnapping Prevention Act. What happens is UCCJA was put in the 60s. It was established in the 60s. In 1980s, they were trying to do better with the forum shopping because people kept going across state lines. And then in 1997, you have UCCJEA, which specifically wanted to help with custody decisions being made in the home state, and then facilitated enforcement of custody and visitation across state lines. And they also wanted to make sure they protected victims of state violence, of domestic violence rather. Now, I will say this, one of the parts of my journey, I ended up going to New Orleans Family Justice Center. I ended up working there. And I remember when I told my mom about a place that has police in-house, they have counseling in-house, childcare in-house, they can do the examinations in-house, and people have been raped and different things, a clinic in-house. She literally cried and said, I wish a place like that existed when you were little. And so these things are real. And so I just wanted to show you that because none of this is haphazard. You're going to need to know the background before you're able to glean from it what you can use for your client's cases. If domestic violence isn't a factor, okay, proceed forward. You're going to need to know about, I'll show you in a minute, the temporary emergency jurisdiction. I'll show you that. This was an example of the footnotes. Right here, you'll see that we have cases there. And then right here, you'll see it's referencing sections of the UCCJEA. So this is saving you time and effort because it's automatically going to point you into the right direction. Okay, right here is what I wanted to show you, the temporary emergency jurisdiction. States have a duty to protect children within their borders. Temporary emergency jurisdiction provision of the UCCJA authorizes a court that would not otherwise have jurisdiction to issue a temporary custody order to protect the child or sibling or parent of the child if the child is present in the state. In an emergency, the safety of the child and his or her family takes precedence over the state's duty to give full faith and credit over custody determinations in another state. All right, now use your different lenses. You're gonna use the research plan. We have forms available. Katrina, I wanna get with you about maybe posting some online where they can download it. Cause I know within, Real Research, we have forms that you can use. Think interactively as you begin to dig, search by topic, search by keyword, check within the controlling jurisdiction and then without in neighboring areas. And then track your efforts in the two categories, what you yielded results and those that did not. All right, here's our contact information. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all.